Good morning, and thank you to the committee, Admiral Vanderwagen, and our federal partners at HSS Asper for the opportunity to speak today. I wanted to speak a little bit on something that's a little bit more squishy. I wanted to focus on partnerships. As was mentioned in the last panel, I wanted to focus a little bit on, when the phone and your Rolodex is pretty much the best resource you got at the time. Also appreciative of the last panel discussion and some of the discussions yesterday. I also wanted to provide a shout out or a pat on the back to our industry partners who are doing great preparedness work every day. And I'll use some vignettes from our experience during the hurricane season last year, just simple examples. But again, I wanted to focus on that partnership. Our Office of Infrastructure Protection leads and coordinates national programs and policies on critical infrastructure security and resilience. Our mission is to lead the national effort to secure critical infrastructure from all hazards by managing risk and enhancing resilience through collaboration with the critical infrastructure community. As a sector-specific agency for the chemical sector, DHS works closely in voluntary public-private partnership with the chemical industry and as a regulator focused towards sustaining the security and resilience of the industry. The U.S. chemical sector converts raw materials into more than 70,000 diverse products, and over 96% of goods manufactured in the U.S. leverage products from the chemical industry. The uninterrupted production and transportation of chemicals is essential for both national and economic security. Several 100,000 U.S. chemical facilities ranging from petrochemical manufacturers to chemical distributors use, manufacture, store, transport, or deliver chemicals along a complex global supply chain. Annually, these companies manage extensive global supply chains with billions of pounds of raw materials. They leverage thousands of suppliers worldwide, manage millions of shipments through warehouses and terminals around the world, all while being transported over highway, rail, marine, pipeline, and air transportation nodes. The industry is truly global. Of the global top 50 chemical companies rated in 2017, which are measured based upon the annual sales and capped at $6 billion, 12 are U.S.-owned, and many of the foreign-owned companies within the top 50 have physical operations within the United States. The sector also has a long history and extensive experience in developing and applying security risk management strategies through the collaborative efforts of trade associations, individual chemical companies, and national laboratories. The industry promotes risk management as a good business practice in their hyper-competitive market. They differentiate themselves through their reputations as responsible manufacturers, and reputations are critical to their success. Chemical companies strive to be the preferred suppliers to their customers, as well as being welcomed in their countries of operation. Since 2012, members from the chemical industry have partnered with the Department of Homeland Security, and leveraging the partnership frameworks in the 2013 National Infrastructure Protection Plan, industry organized a chartered, self-organized, self-governed voluntary body of industry stakeholders to collaborate with the sector-specific agency. The Sector Coordinating Councils, or SECs for short, enable critical infrastructure owners and operators and their trade associations and other industry representatives to interact on a wide range of sector-specific strategies, policies, and activities. The SECs coordinate and collaborate with the sector-specific agencies and the related government coordinating councils to address the entire range of security and resilience policies and efforts for that sector. SECs serve as the sector's voice and facilitate the government's collaboration with industry. Information sharing protections enacted by the Homeland Security and Critical Infrastructure Information Acts of 2002 enable these trusted partnerships and make possible transparency and improved information sharing. Other functions of an SCC may include serving as strategic communications and coordination mechanisms between owners, operators, trade associations, suppliers, and the government during emerging threats or response and recovery operations, and facilitate organization and coordination policy development regarding security and resilience, planning and preparedness, exercises and training, public awareness, and associated implementation activities and requirements. The Chemical Sector Coordinating Council membership includes 15 industry trade associations with an executive committee chaired by industry members representing upstream manufacturers and downstream distributors. Despite pharmaceuticals being a segment of the chemical sector, there isn't representation on the chemical SEC. Every sector council is different, of which I know that the healthcare and public health and the food and agricultural SECs have different compositions based upon their industry's demographic and individual dynamic. Regardless, the sector coordinating councils have the same mandate to serve the industry's voice and enable federal engagement with the sector. During last year's hurricane season, the chemical SEC played a key role in the strategic communication and the coordination management between industry and the federal stakeholders. Hurricane Harvey and Irma hit deep into the heart of the chemical and petrochemical industry in Texas and Louisiana. However, the industry's prepared response is a testament to their risk management planning despite the unanticipated scale of the hurricane event. In preparation of landfall, the chemical SEC initiated communications and actions in accordance with the actions prescribed in the chemical sector playbook for an all-hazard response. The playbook was developed by the chemical SEC and provides a standard operating procedure to assist the chemical sector in preparing for, responding to, and recovering from an all-hazards emergency. This SOP defines the respective roles and responsibilities of the chemical SEC and the chemical SSA in response to an all-hazards emergency. Major industry stakeholders' business continuity, emergency response operations, and supply chain risk management were well planned and exercised during these hurricanes. In preparation for landfall and throughout the event response, as I ran through the list of potential vulnerabilities and risks with my partners, I received quick responses of mitigations already exercised by these companies. These included operations shifted to off-site locations, key inventories moved out of affected areas by road and rail, ships held in staging areas offshore, alternate suppliers activated, mutual assistance within the industry exercised, hotel room blocks reserved, accountability and fee plans for displaced workforce in place, as well as facility restart plans ready. And the list goes on. Not all were spared, though, and despite the best plans and preparations, incidents like stuff blowing up did occur. However, through our communications with the SEC, early reporting of a potential problem was communicated to authorities, enabling a planned response that mitigated residual risk to the area surrounding the facility. Continued communications with the industry through the SEC also highlighted key areas of needed federal coordination. These included advocacy for prioritized access and reentry to facilities in affected areas, regulatory exemptions and waivers, and prioritization of resources for federal assistance. The industry's response in Puerto Rico was similarly proactive. While many of the industry's major stakeholders have subsidiaries operating in Puerto Rico to supply the local market, the scale and effects of the storm had cascading impacts across all sectors that affected the industry's response. Some industry partners leveraged independent resources to move critical supplies to restore operations on island. Other partners leveraged the federal response to coordinate transport of inventory to and off the island. Leveraging communication through the chemical SEC, an industry partner identified a potential shortage of medical gases on island due to the operational status of their facilities. This partner estimated the inventory shortfall in loaded containers and shipped them en route to Florida for immediate shipment. With the assistance of HHS, ASPR, and the Health and Public Health SSA and FEMA, these containers were prioritized, shipped, and made it on island within 24 to 48 hours. Leveraging the public-private partnerships through the Sector Coordinating Council enhances communication, program implementation, and operational activities, including incident response and recovery. Collaboration, planning, and exercising among trusted partners is essential to break down complex issues and develop shared strategies and resources for more effective risk management decisions. The expertise that resides on the Council provides an invaluable resource to understand the complexities and realities of the industry on the ground, and working together to leverage the cooperative expertise in both public and private sector is the foundation for effective critical infrastructure security and resilience strategies. Ensuring the security and the resilience of the nation's critical infrastructure is a shared responsibility among multiple stakeholders because neither government nor the private sector alone has the knowledge and the authority or resources to go it alone. Thank you.